How's it going, fellow Euphoria watchers, enthusiasts, whatever you want to call yourselves? Is there a name for the fan base? I don't know, but we are back with another video. Today we are going to be reviewing the third episode in Season 2, and like I said in the boys review, we have 5 more episodes after this to look over. It's kind of sad. Hopefully they release some more seasons in the future. I feel like maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how Season 2 ends, and then I can determine that. Cal is a pretty big focal point of this episode, Cal Jacobs, and he's been like that since the last episode as well. They really wanted to make him more of a factor, which I like. I like when they take some of the side characters a couple tiers down from the protagonist and kind of bring them up a little bit, you know? There's no way the very dangerous choice that Rue makes in this episode will end well for her. I know that. We're going to get into that choice. I'm not going to talk about it yet. And by the way, if you haven't watched this episode, please watch it. This is not a spoiler-free. She even tells us so herself in very entertaining fashion in the first half of the hour that whatever she does, it's not going to be good. Now, she says, as a beloved character that a lot of people are rooting for, she feels a certain responsibility to make good decisions, but she relapsed, of course. We expect that. That's a normal happening in a drug addict's cycle. Speaking directly to the camera in a segment similar to last season's dick pic slideshow. There's even a joke about the dick pic slideshow because Elliot brings up a presentation and it's the dick pics instead of her trying to get away with doing drugs. That's kind of what she's trying to present on. I like these little side things because it takes kind of the seriousness out of the episode or out of the show, adds a little bit of comic relief. I love it. She did say in the beginning she had no intentions of staying clean, in all fairness, and yeah, that is fair to say. I knew she wasn't really going to stay clean that long, but yeah. She goes on to say that she understands our collective desire for her to be okay, to pull herself together even a little bit. Well, as evil as this might sound, I don't really want her to pull it together because this is where all the adventures in the show come. When she's off the drugs, she's going to parties and stuff. This is where the action takes place. I shouldn't say that, should I? That's okay. The country's dark and fucked up. Very true. And people just want to find hope anywhere, if not in reality, in television. However, unfortunately, she's not in it. She says with a shrug, swigging some cough syrup. Very casually, by the way. That was the most casual swig of cough syrup I've ever seen. And that really seems true in the episode, which also gives us a nascent Jules-Elliot flirtation and a Cal bloodying that's rather satisfying. I love it. I love the Jacobs getting hurt. They keep trying to fucking poke and inch into the situation with Jules and Rue. Not a good idea. Please stay out of it. Fesco and his boys. Ashtray's coming for you, right? Yes, that is the second time in 3 weeks, or in 3 episodes, that I've hailed a Jacobs man getting whooped. And no, I do not feel sorry about it. I feel no remorse for these guys. Shout out to TV Line, by the way, because they've given us this article to kind of read and to discuss. But yeah, I don't feel bad about the Jacobs getting what's coming to them, right? Let's get into the actual episode. So let's kind of look through Cal's part of the story. This episode opening deep dive focusing on Nate's dad, Cal. So if you thought that the flashbacks were over, the origin stories were over, you're wrong, because we come to see Cal. We see his life as a high school senior, where he ruled the wrestling team, planned to attend Duke University, and spent a lot of time with his best friend Derek. So he's pretty typical. He definitely rubbed off on his son. We kind of based on Nate, you would know exactly how Cal was in high school, right? I have to shave. I'll probably do that after this video. I'm keeping the stash, y'all. Don't worry. I'm keeping this stash. It's just the beard is a little scruffy is all. Yeah. He's an athlete. He's looking to go to a big college. Same old, same old. As Rue's voiceover tells us how close and comfortable the boys were getting with each other, we get several instances of Cal's gaze lingering a little longer on his friend's body than is polite. It's really weird. Cal has a very confusing sexuality. I don't think he's really found himself even to this day, maybe. He is a little fruity, if you want to say that. Still, when Marcia makes it clear that she's into Cal, they start dating, so obviously he's going to act straight to be cool, right? She's very forward, and though Rue tells us that sometimes makes teen Cal uncomfortable, he was grateful she pushed his boundaries, right? Cal is a pretty insecure guy. He was one of the more popular kids in high school, but he was very insecure about stuff. He didn't want people being assertive towards him. He felt like he wanted to be dominant. I guess you could say the same about Nate. Again, there's a lot of parallels between these two. When Marcia performs oral sex on Cal in his car one night, he couldn't wait to tell Derek, Rue says. Of course, when you have sex with a girl, you gotta tell the friends, I guess, right? So he does, while the guys are lying side by side on Cal's bed one afternoon. Maybe he's trying to flex to his gay lover. I mean, they kind of love each other for some reason. Cal's dad, a severe man who seems a lot like future Cal, barges in and asks Derek to leave. I don't really see too many similarities between Father Cal and his father as a father. But yeah, they're a little bit strict. They're a little bit physical. Seems to be, yeah. He barges in and asks Derek to leave, not in a polite way either. I don't know if I'd want to be friends with someone whose parents are that rude to me. I don't know. That's just me. He's so suspicious of his son's friendship and bodily proximity with Derek that he orders Cal to stand up, most likely to see whether he's visibly excited, which is wrong on so many levels, and Cal refuses. Again, the Jacobs are a weird family, and Maddie described that in one of the episodes so fucking well. They're weird. They have a lot of secrets, a lot of sus activities going on. That's likely the reason Derek hugs his gym bag to his midsection as he exits the room. Yeah. Cal's father seems disgusted. That night at dinner, Cal announces to his family that he's met a girl, so pretty much his dad's relieved. He's like, oh, my son's not gay, I'm very homophobic. Yeah. There's a lot of American dads that are homophobic, right? Soon as a very naked montage depicts Cal and Marcia are having sex every chance they can get. Again, the nudity just flourishes in this episode. The naturality of it, the casualty of it, or the casualness of it. I don't know how to describe that. Graduation rolls around and Derek insisted they celebrate, just the two of them, which is kind of weird. I thought that was weird when he said that. It gave some sexual undertone to it a little bit, Rue says. So the boys drive to a gay bar. Though Cal doesn't seem to get what's going on right away. He probably should. And pound some tequila shots. So obviously that's why people weren't fucking laughing at them when they started to do what's about to come up next. Soon, they're being silly, lip-syncing to INXS's Never Tear Us Apart, which is, by the way, like probably his childhood song. We listened to it a couple times in the episode, and goofing around on the dance floor. But you know where this is going, right? They're at a gay bar. You know it's going to go down. Soon the goofiness wears off. They draw closer, and then they're dancing with their faces pressed to each other's necks. You know what's going to happen next. They kiss. Then they kiss some more, and I mean, the people in the bar weren't making fun. They seemed like they were enjoying the sight. They were embracing this love. The next morning, Cal wakes up happy until Marcia calls to tell him she's pregnant. He hangs up, curls into a fetal position in bed, and sobs. Now, obviously, Nate hasn't gotten anyone pregnant yet, so that's where the parallel kind of ends, but I don't know. If Marcia hadn't got pregnant, would Cal have been gay? I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to say there. Like, would he have been in a gay marriage? In the present, moving on, when Gia catches Rue loopily dancing through the house to call me irresponsible, she asks, "Are you high?" That kicks off an aside in which Rue tells us exactly how she's hiding her relapse from her sister and friends by covering it with a different kind of drug use, weed, a less severe thing. There's nothing wrong with weed in my opinion. I don't do it, but I don't see the problem. As she explains, we watch a flashback to when Rue casually informed Gia that she might start smoking weed as a way to deal with daily panic attacks. It's a healthy stress reliever. Look, it's very mellow. That incensed her little sister, who has already had her life upended by Rue's addiction. Like, they've already gone through so much as a family. Gia has had to sacrifice a lot of stuff. She doesn't want to go through the skin. Understandable. They got into a shoving match. They cry. A lot of emotions pouring out from these two. When you do drugs, it's not like when other people do drugs, right? Gia said. It's better than committing suicide, Rue countered sadly. Very sad truth, I guess. Eventually, they arrived at a point where Gia made Rue promise her it's just going to be weed and not anything more, and Rue did. She doesn't want to go back to drugs, which she fucking does eventually. She can't get away from it. It's an addict. It's the trials and tribulations of an addict, right? So when Gia sees her sister tripping the light fantastic in the kitchen, she accepts the notion that Rue is on marijuana, right? And not drugs, which in reality it probably is drugs. By the way, weed is also the reason Rue gives Jules for why she forgot to mention Elliot to her, but Jules is less easily appeased. Jules knows there's a lot more going on. She knows Rue honestly more than Gia does, sadly. When Rue mentions that she thinks Elliot and Jules might actually get along, Jules says nope because he wants to fuck her. Very straight to the point. Very crazy allegations here from Jules. Very jealous, very envious of a friendly acquaintance relationship. I don't know. And when Rue denies that, the girls go to Elliot's house so Jules can literally interrogate him with a lamp and everything. Literally a lie detector, right? During the course of this conversation, we find out that Elliot's sexuality is fluid, and that he might kind of be interested in both Rue and Jules, but he definitely wants to be friends with both of them. So we learn a lot more. I like this scene. It was very necessary in the show because we learn a lot more about Elliot. Dominic Fike, again, shout out to the homie. He teases Jules about wearing a binder against her chest, but she deflects. But the whole encounter seems to relieve Jules of some of her anxiety about Rue's new pal. She's like, alright, this is a fucking cool guy. I understand why Jules would like him. As the girls ride their bikes home, Cal passes them in his truck, which is always a buzzkill. It's like, oh my god, what is going to happen next in this dispute? But then Rue and Jules nip into a backyard for some nookie. Jules guides Rue's hand down the front of her pants, and all is well, until Rue gets home, snorts cocaine, and slumps over. So she's broken her promise already to Gia, and we're barely even into the episode. So, very concerned about Cassie. Let's get into her part of the story. She starts getting up at 4 a.m. each day to perform an elaborate beauty ritual, all in hopes that Nate will actually notice her when they pass in the halls, which Nate really can't do that because Maddie is very, very loving of him, and he cannot let Cassie get in the way of that. He wants her to, but yeah, he doesn't until the day she dresses almost identically to Maddie, which was the key, right? The extreme beauty prep was her way of telling him she was his. Right. There's also a hilarious bit in the girls' room where Maddie, Kat, and Rue can't figure out why Cassie is dressed like she's auditioning for an upcoming production of Oklahoma. It's kind of funny. In fact, they've been meeting up every Friday for 3 weeks to have sex, so something has been going on, but Nate can't show that in school. Cassie tells him she loves that she's his secret, and she can't tell a soul. That's very toxic. She loves how fucking... Nate says he loves how fucking sick she is. They're so loud that Cal and Marsha can hear them through the walls. That's affectionate, guys. They love each other. They're passionate. And Mr. and Mrs. Jacobs do nothing except muse about how great it would be to relive their high school years. Now, most parents would be like, stop having sex. But these two, we saw the sexual fantasies they had in the beginning of the episode. They are very understanding of this, of course. Right? Yeah. Is anyone else getting chilly from the breeze, from all these red flags chaotically flapping? Being fine with your son having sex that rapidly and that violently? I don't know. That Friday night, Cassie runs out to meet Nate at the Rendezvous spot, but he's not there. He said something came up. Sorry, see her next week. We watch him bring flowers to Maddie at the house where she's just put her babysitting charge to bed. So Nate's like, sorry. He's pretty much making an excuse of, he's not saying this, but he's like, sorry, I'm seeing Maddie, not you this time. Maddie's probably getting anxious. Let's get to the Cal situation and the Fez, one of the biggest ones in the show right now. Cal is so agitated about the whereabouts of his missing disc that he takes matters into his own hands and goes to Fez's place. He is gonna be disappointed, by the way. But Ashtray's a step ahead of him and surprises him at the guard. Gun pointed to Cal's head. Man, I fucking love Ashtray. I'm telling you, this is the most badass fucking character I've ever seen in a show. The boy marches him inside and repeatedly bashes Cal's head with the butt of the gun to call his bluff. I mean, it gets cringy after a while. It's like, holy shit, you might fucking kill Cal. But he doesn't. Ash knows Cal's not going to involve the police no matter how much he threatens to. Right? During the scene, Cal realizes that Nate lied to him about the reason Fez beat him up at the New Year's Eve party. Fez says he's telling him he had sex with Jewel. I cannot accurately convey to you how much everyone referring to Jules as Jewel in this scene made me laugh. I think it's hilarious. Fez doesn't really know Jules that well, right? When Cal says he wants the disc, Fez has no idea what he's talking about. Obviously not, because Maddie took the fucking disc. But he does let Cal know that Nate is in love with Jewel. So, now Cal knows that. Cal is confused. Fez is confused. What kind of weird-ass father-son shit is going on here, bro? Fez wonders. Right there with you, man. I don't know either. It's a very weird dynamic. This is where the viral TikTok sound, "You're confused? I'm fucking confused, bro." That's where that comes from when Fez says that. Eventually, Fez and a reluctant Ash let a bloody Cow walk out of there in exchange for his promise that he and Nate stay out of Fez, Rue, and Jules' life until the end of time. We know that's not going to fucking happen. We know who the Jacobs are. But yeah, let's move on to Rue. When Rue finishes the last of Faye's heroin, she decides that becoming a dealer will be her best way to free drugs. Yeah. Fez smartly dismisses her before she can even start her pitch, so she borrows one of her mom's blazers and goes straight to Lori. Fez is a supplier we met in the season premiere, so she wants business. We got some parallels to Breaking Bad here, am I right? Rue has come up with a plan where she and some of her high school friends will sell drugs for Lori. I don't know how she's going to get people to agree to that. What could go wrong? A lot of things, but Lori hears her out and offers $50,000 in product. A suddenly scared Rue takes $10,000 instead, opting to start small. Smart, right? Lori is like so subtly aggressive. Listen to this. "Rue, if you screw me, I'll have you kidnapped and sold to some real sick people." Chilling yet flat delivery. I always find a way to make my money back. I'm serious. She's so fucking evil, bro. Rue takes a suitcase of drugs to her Narcotics Anonymous meeting, not the smartest thing to do, where Ali knows something is up. She lies and says the luggage is filled with books, and she's really mean to him. I feel bad for Ali. He's trying to help this girl out, and she's just being the biggest dickhead I've seen in my life. When he says she can't blow him off like he's her parent, she fires back that no one's looking to him to be a parent. Very, very, very rude. He says if she crosses that line again, we're done, he shouts, highly angry. Or what, Ali? She says, "You're gonna kill me." He's taken aback. She leaves. It's a rough thing all the way around. At home, Rue opens the suitcase, which contains a stupid amount of drugs, and immediately samples the wares. So she's given a lot of drugs here. Meanwhile, Lexi has written a play and gotten permission to perform it at school. There's a very fun aside that it's in the style of the behind-the-scenes featurette with Lexi as showrunner. Ethan auditions for the show and gets a part, but Kat doesn't seem to care. Kat meets Ethan's parents, but is so nervous that the dinner does not